out there listening somewhere. I think I've seen him.
We wanted him to be up here. He's also a great singer.
We wanted him to come. But yeah, and so that's how that came about. And Ripper will tell you about Sean, because Ripper was playing with Sean, our drummer, and it was a close guarded secret because we wanted Les to be on board, didn't we? And Les couldn't make it. You know, he had some ailments. And so Ripper was at my house, and I'm saying, well, what we're going to do now, you know? And so we surfed the net. We were looking at this guy, and then you said,
"Well, you said I got a guy.
You know, I've got a guy here," and I'm going, you know, we checked him out. and I'm thinking, he's definitely the guy.
Yeah.
You know,
he was over like a week later.
I said, does he know how good he is? And Tim, do you know how good he is? Because you should have put him forward straight away, really, because he's that good.
I never really liked him.
Yeah.
But he's a great player. So he knows Sean, so he knows Sean.
Yeah. So happy with Sean, because he's a lovely guy and such a great drummer. And Tony, of course, Tony's, I know Tony. Tony, actually, I did a couple of gigs. We did a couple of gigs, didn't we? One at... with Ripper and Dave Ellefson, and then I did a few songs with Ross the Boss at a festival, and Tony mixed us there. So Tony's a great, you know, all-round guy, you know, talented guy. Sings, plays the bass, he's a studio engineer. He just, you know,
brings it all to the table.
All that, yeah. But obviously a really nice guy, and that's the important thing is. Got to have really nice people around me at my age, you know. I need them to help me along, you know.
Now let's go through all the crew. Let's go through all the crew next. Now
So that's it.
It's a great band.
We're consolidated and we're ready to go. Do you know we've only played 10 shows in our career?
We've played more than that, haven't we?
Total. Wow.
It feels like 75.
So the other question I have is,
the last time we played was October in Malta, but we'll be great tomorrow, so I promise you.
I'm sure you will. How did you get so skinny since you were on my radio show?
I don't eat that much.
You must have dropped. You must have dropped 25, 30 pounds, man.
About 50, yeah.
Okay.
But I go to the gym every day, so.
You look great.
In the morning, everybody can meet me at the gym, and it'll be sweating to the oldies in the gym.
And that was it. Right on, guys.
Good seeing you, buddy. Chuck, here's Chuck, ladies and gentlemen, from Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio.
One of my buddies, one of my friends, so be careful what you say.
Oh, the weight Tim lost, I found. So, Priest, they did some really great stuff, reworking songs, doing covers. Has KK's Priest thought about doing any covers or taking an older song like Fleetwood Mac and Joan Baez and doing something like that?
Yeah, I can't say I actually thought about that, but obviously as the band evolves and time goes on, it's possible for sure, maybe. But
it's like it's a Jimi Hendrix song now, because you said Jimi Hendrix. So.
Yeah, but I think it's been such a nice experience, really, just being able to, you know, just being surrounded with different people, creating new material. That's been the most important focus, I think, for me. You know, to just be able to do that, and I do feel as though, you know, it has been a new lease of life, really, to be able to sit down and basically. Just have a kind of an element of a bit more of say and control over, you know, what you do and what you don't do. You know, it's been kind of nice for me, really. You know.
Also, I was lucky enough to get a signed Jugulator LP from Tim. So if anybody wants to hit me up.
Yeah. I almost gave him 2.
eBay's a good call.
You have 2. They go for like $500 a piece. $250 for you, though.
Hey guys, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for doing this. This is really great. You talked about point of entry, you talked about British Steel, a little bit of Scream for Vengeance. how important was Painkiller? I think it's a perfect album, and I think a lot of people in this room could probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Painkiller?
Yeah, it's another one of those, isn't it? You know, when the gentleman asked me before, it could have been Sad Wings, it could have been, I say British Steel, but definitely Painkiller's another one of those kind of benchmark albums, you know.
Really, I think really kind of like a comeback record. A lot of people view that as a real return to form.
Yeah.
Hearing that opening, the drums and the opening.
Well, Travis could give a little jolt of energy, didn't he?
Yeah, I think, having the introduction of Scott, you know, with his fast double kicks and that, it's allowed myself and Glenn to do, you know, to write in a different way, you know. I mean, we'd kind of come through the 80s and it was a little bit more kind of straightforward rock, a lot of it, you know, with Turbo and albums like that. But again, we were always doing U-turns, weren't we? You know, doing what people least expected us to do. But it's funny. The truth is, the album wasn't a massive success to start with, you know, for whatever reason, but it certainly gained momentum over time, you know, and it's probably the band's most revered album now, would you say, Eddie? I think.
I don't know if it's British Steel and Screaming for Vengeance, but I think most Priest fans would put it in the top 5, I would think.
But you know, a song like Touch of Evil to me should have always been just huge, right? It should have been, and I used to always listen to that, and I hear other songs on the radio, and I thought, how is it Touch of Evil this giant, you know, it is the Priest fans, but it was such a great song. But there wasn't a lot of great records at that time. It was getting a little stale, and I think Painkiller was just a kick in the face, you know.
You know, while we're talking about the catalog, one quick thing for me that I always wanted to know the answer to this, because one of the great live albums is Unleashed in the East, right? And it comes out in the 70s, the height of live albums and double live albums. The only thing wrong with Unleashed in the East is it was a single record. Why wasn't it a double record? Everyone was doing doubles at that time. It's short. It's too short.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure why that was a single. But I'm kind of happy with it because it really is an energized record, isn't it? You know, it's like full on, isn't it? So yeah, but maybe we'll go to Japan and maybe
We'll do a triple.
Just a couple quick points. Congrats on your Bloodstock show. We watched the video of that. It's amazing. You guys back on stage in front of tens of thousands of people. Fantastic.
Yeah, that was, well, we didn't know they were gonna do with it. It was only our 5th show, wasn't it? Yeah. And of course we only found out the day before we were playing that show because someone dropped out, didn't they?
Halloween. One of the singers got sick.
Halloween, yeah, that's right. So they called us. We were in Belgium during a festival, and so we travelled all night long to get there. And they cut our set short, and we didn't have the full show anyway. But we just did it, didn't we?
But yeah, it was a great show.
But, you know,
Lastly, and once again, thanks for doing this. Has he taken you to Nico's place to get some ribs?
not yet.
No, he invited us. You know, Tony's good friends with him, and he said but we'll try to get there when we get back off and play Fort Lauderdale. We'll try to run over there.
Well,
it's good stuff.
Well, hopefully Nico goes and joins you guys on stage.
He's in England. He's doing that big show there at I forget where it is, but he's in England. So I said, what a quitter. He quit on us. He left. I expect him to be at the show, but no, he needs to try it because it's great food there.
Fantastic, okay, fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, he's got it.
Hello.
Well done. Hi.
How are you?
Good
Hey,
night.
nice seeing you again. I'm from Panama. I saw you in Panama, and actually, my very good friend Eric Pinson says hi.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Hello, hello. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Need to come
it was
back.
a great show.
We'll get KK's Priest there now.
That was one of my 2 questions. Are
There,
you planning to do shows in Central and South America?
Yes, we'd love to go there. We're happy to go anywhere, aren't we?
At this point?
Everybody just tell the promoters in your town, wherever you're from,
Right.
Obviously, people here from all over the world. So
Well, I tell Eric to call me and set it up.
just get
Set it up. It's a little more expensive than my solo show.
I know. It is, yeah. The second question is, one band that you can recommend for me to listen, that you're listening to now, what would it be?
I got one. Hold that vinyl up right there. I think this is a really good one. Right there. KK's Priest.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Very fantastic band.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I don't
Tim?
know. I don't know. Beatles. That's the new band I listen to. I really don't listen to a lot of I'm always listening to our stuff to study it and get better at it, and then I just listen to classic music, Dio and Beatles and David Bowie, but a lot of Maiden, you know.
Beyond
Priest.
Fear.
Beyond Fear. I don't. That's me. But I do. I don't listen to a lot of new stuff. I'll leave that to my kids.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Hey Tim, while KK's signing that, and before we take our next question, for you, I mean, you still look great and you still look like a kid to me, but you're not, and you've been singing for a long time now.
Was that what the fuck is that? You're not. I got you. No, that was nice. That was a compliment all the
I'm
way.
setting you up. I'm getting there.
Absolutely.
It's taking a while, but I'm getting there.
I took it as one.
Now, the question is, as people get older, their voices a lot of people tend to lose a little something. They can't do it as well as they used to. They have to, they can't hit everything they used to. I mean, I've seen the stuff that you've done with KK on YouTube or whatever. You've seemingly lost nothing. If anything, it's even stronger what's going on with your voice. I was getting no compliment.
You started off with a compliment.
But yeah, there were two compliments in the middle.
Right away.
So tell me, like for you, just the art of singing as you've gotten older, and as I mentioned when you first came out, I mean, and you've touched on a few things, Beyond Fear, you've done so many projects, sang with so many different people, but how have you adapted as a singer? What do you find as a singer like that you've learned over all these years, and how you keep your voice to where it is right now?
Well, I'm lucky, because the voice is a weird thing. I remember Ken said something, I lost my voice at a second show on the European Judas Priest tour, and I would go swim in and go to the steam room, and I just totally lost my voice. And he said, Tim, guitar players have to shut their fingers in the car door. You can just wake up and I have a voice. And for about 5 years I didn't, but I've always taken care of it. I go to the gym, I work out, but I don't talk a lot. I hide away when I'm on tour. But it's lucky. You can just lose your voice, but I'm singing better right now than, my high notes are better now than I think they've ever been, and knock on wood if there's some around here. But it's just, I just guess I get up and hope I can sing. It's basically it.
It's amazing to me because one of the great singers of all time is on this cruise right now. I was with him earlier, and that's Glenn Hughes, who is 72, 73, and is as powerful as he's ever been. And, you ask Glenn, as I often do, and he's like, I don't know, it's just, I can't be scared on stage. As long as I'm not scared, it's okay. Everybody's got a process, and in interviewing countless singers in my 40 years doing this, everyone has a different, every singer I've talked to has a different process. Our mutual friend, the late great Ronnie James Dio, I'll never forget sitting with him, and it's like 3 minutes to showtime, Ron, and I'm like, well, let me go and get ready. He's like, what do you mean get ready? He would just walk out and sing. And then you got guys that scream into towels and do warm up and warm down. What do you do? Where are you at with that?
Well, I don't like to talk. That was one thing Ronnie was. There was no one like Ronnie. He would not only talk, you would walk with him to the stage.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And he's drinking a Boddington or a Guinness on the way to the stage. I don't drink before the KK's pre-shows. I don't like to talk to people, but I don't warm up. I don't do anything. I just go whoa. That's what I do. That's my warm. One of those. One. And that's just to go, I hope I can sing. And then I'm done. I might not even do that, to be honest, but I just clear it away. The first song's my warm-up. It is Hellfire Thunderbolt, which is kind of a difficult starting song, but yeah, I don't. And I love Ronnie, these stories are great with him, but Ronnie said, David Draymond, you ever hear that story? David asked Ronnie, because David would talk very seriously, and he would say, Ronnie, what do you do to warm up? And Ronnie said, David, if you have to warm up, you don't have it. And he was like, you know, but every singer is different. Singers, I think warm up is fantastic. To me, it just tires me out. But Ronnie was great because he could just, there was nothing, no one like Ronnie.
Yeah. Woo, man.
So one, I'm standing in front of one of my biggest heroes of all time.
Thank you.
I mean,
Oh, she's looking at Ken, by the way.
honestly, you have a gift because you can't just do the priest. You can't. The range, the vocals. You need the chop for it, right?
Yeah.
I just.
Mark Wahlberg learned everything from him.
Only time I had abs.
I just am very excited to be standing in front of you. Really, it's like an honor and a privilege. I don't get starstruck. I've been doing this 12 years. I work in the media room, volunteer, and I'm literally shaking because this was like one of my, I said, I was eating, and I said, you gotta give me my dinner right now because I gotta get over to that Q&A. So my question to you is, see, I am a child of the 80s, right? But I learned to appreciate the 70s. My dad was a musician, so Guess Who. So who were your influences when you were creating? Because you go back, it's not just the 80s, right? And like, I love Beyond the Realms of Death, and I love The Sad Things of Destiny. And it's different, it's not 80s. Totally different style of music. So.
Yes, well, thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
and
meet you.
thank you so much for those gracious comments. Yeah, I think everyone knows. I mean, I was just a 16-year-old kid when I first went and saw, you know, I was trying to see as many bands as I could, you know, in pubs and local places, but I was just young, so I couldn't get into a lot of places, you know. But then I got the opportunity to see, obviously, the great Jimi Hendrix, you know, in 1967, and that was it for me, you know. I was just totally a crazy fan, but not just of his, you know, just music. And I was kind of lucky, really. I held down a couple of jobs just enough to get some money to buy the amp that I wanted and the guitar that I wanted. And then that was it, really. I guess I never did anything else. I just totally sold my soul to the devil, really. I'm thinking, this is going to work. If it doesn't, well, it's all over for
What
me.
other
you know.
guitar players? What other guitar players did influence you?
Yeah, well, just everybody. It was everyone, really. Like, say, in the 60s, I saw just about everyone and liked everyone, because everybody could do something I couldn't, you know. Whether it was, you know, Paul Kossoff or, you know, just Eric Clapton and just everybody, you know.
I think a lot has to do with chemistry too when you're in a band.
Yeah,
I
even saw John Mayall with Mick Taylor on guitar, you know, so it was back then, it was such a magical time, because everything was so new, because up until that point, we only had blues and progressive blues, and we had progressive blues for quite a few years. You know, the first time I went out ever with Judas Priest, they always booked us as a progressive blues band because they didn't know what we played. There wasn't an idea.
Same with Sabbath too, right?
Yeah, there was.
Sabbath was polka blues band.
There was just progressive blues, and everybody was in progressive blues. There was a lot of progressive blues band. You know, obviously Cream were, you know, Free, Bloodwind Peak, Jethro Tull, you know, 10 years out. Everybody was progressive blues. But we weren't. We were kind of a bit odd.
No, you were ballsy and different. That's what I'm saying.
In the beginning, you guys were like hippie rock. If you see the really early stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
love that stuff.
And then I remember when it was just about 1970, suddenly rock appeared, you know, and suddenly Deep Purple were a rock band, and Led Zeppelin were a rock band, you know, but Led Zeppelin was quite a progressive blues band, you know. And then obviously the evolution, heavy rock, hard rock, heavy metal, so...
I love it all, you know, but I love the 70s too, and then just being in a household where I was exposed to it,
Yeah.
you know.
But there's so many guitar players, people wouldn't
yeah.
even know, like, you know, like Holly Alsall from a band called Pato. You know, I mean, lots of lots of guys were great, you know. I looked up to everyone, you know, for a very long time, as you would,
Yeah.
you know, being a big fan of music, but at the same time trying to create something unique myself, which
And it was.
it was hard to be confident with you know, but I stuck at it, you know, more riff-orientated songs, you know, as opposed to something that had stemmed from a 12-bar blues.
Okay, we have time for one more question here.
I
and
would
we
just
have to
like the
wrap
honor
up.
of shaking your hand.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Appropriately, our last question comes from Rob Halford, ladies and gentlemen. Are you kidding me? Get on the ship, Rob. What's going on here?
This is a sabotage question.
It's not Rob because it's not a cat shirt.
Rob's
Rob has the cat shirts,
Yeah, he's
right?
wearing shirts with cats. I
Mr.
love
Booze.
those.
What the
You
fuck's
lost a
that?
lot of weight, dude, since I saw you last.
Thank you. It's all keto, baby. It's all keto. So I have a couple questions for you, and hopefully I can get through them real quick. But I'm an artist, a painter. I just did a portrait of you for the gallery that's right out the door.
Oh, you're the gentleman that Laura told me about.
Yes, exactly.
Great. And yeah, that's great. Well, it's good to.
Well, thank
yeah,
you.
We'll come
I
down.
check the